is TechStrong TV.
Welcome to TechStrong TV. I'm Bonnie Schneider, and today we are thrilled to have Leah Goldfarb joining us from Platform.sh. Leah brings a wealth of experience in environmental science and policy. We're excited to learn more about Platform.sh's an innovative approach to business sustainability. Leah, it's wonderful to have you here.
Well, thank you, Bonnie, for having me back. It's a pleasure to be.
Yes. Can you tell me, for those that aren't familiar with your work, a little bit about your background and your role at Platform.sh?
Yes. So my background originally was in atmospheric chemistry with a focus on climate change. I've worked for 10 years on sustainability at the international level and also worked for 2 years at the technical support unit, the IPCC. So I've been passionate about sustainability generally, but my specialty is really around carbon. And I am Platform.sh's environmental impact officer, so really hired to look at how to reduce emissions for this French tech startup in the cloud, but also more generally.
How does Platform.sh promote sustainability and tech, particularly with its recent 3% discount for deploying apps on low carbon regions?
Yeah, so in sustainability, we often talk about people, planet, profit. And this was really putting together both the environmental component and also looking at the business structure as well. So this past month, we launched launched Upsun, which is our new offering, and it runs on the same proven infrastructure that Platform.sh has created, but there are some new twists to it. It's a resource-based offering, and what we're offering is 3% discount on the resources on Platform.sh if you pick a data center that runs on low carbon energy. And the exciting thing we have to announce with that is so far, for the clients that have signed up, 80% of them have opted for the greener data center. So this is really quite new for us.
You know, that is really exciting to hear, because it seems like this turnaround in interest is now really, really reflected in the statistics at 80%. That's an impressive number.
Yeah. And I think it's showing that people are getting educated on how emissions are calculated, how carbon audits are done in the cloud, and that, the greenhouse gas protocol, which is the international standard used to calculate emissions in the cloud, uses a location-based strategy. So the carbon intensity of the underlying electricity grid supporting the data center is very important.
Well, data centers are certainly in the news and looking for ways to have more efficient energy. How do you think this initiative with Platform.sh is going to drive that conversation?
So hosting in the cloud is a complex and technical subject. And Upsun and Platform uses a technique called Platform as a Service, which really mutualizes the resources used in the cloud. For example, our carbon auditor found that our usage of CPUs on Upsun was 12 times more efficient than a standard deployment on AWS's, that's Amazon's web services, Elastic Cloud 2, which is a standard offering. So again, as people get more educated about how to calculate emissions in the cloud, they'll be looking for Platform as a Service as a way to even further reduce their emissions in the cloud. And then if they want to take it one step further, they can also think about, that underlying geolocation of the electricity supporting that data center.
What challenges and opportunities do you see in promoting greener hosting solutions, and how does Platform.sh plan to address them?
So I would say actually one of the biggest challenges is that people are interested in the field, but maybe they don't know the definitions. They don't know how the calculations are done. So the big challenge is around education and just showing how a carbon audit is done. What are the levers people can use? Because there's, I think there's a conception out there that, we have these websites that just say, enter your URL and we'll tell you how clean your data center is. And that type of approach measures really the network component, the pinging back and forth, and doesn't consider the geolocation, doesn't consider whether it's a pass or not. And so it's part of the photo, but it's not the big picture. So that type of education is part of the challenges that we're encountering. And so in terms of the solutions, we both for Platform and for Upsun put up blog posts showing the actual carbon intensities for all of the data centers. When someone spins up a new project on either service, they see the carbon intensity and they can see whether it's green or not, because not everyone's going to know a greener data center is one that runs on electricity that is less than 100 grams CO2 equivalent per kilowatt hour. So we try to, just accompany our clients in that education role.
A lot of our viewers are developers or work on the technical side in IT. What do you think this new innovation might mean to them? Because they're always looking for ways to be more energy efficient.
Yeah, so I think most engineers that work in this space will think about code efficiency first, and that's great. We encourage that. But what I would hope is, that they come in and they become more curious about how a true carbon auditor approaches this, and to think more like a carbon auditor and maybe a bit less like an engineer, because the savings that we're seeing from the geolocation strategy can dwarf some of even the coding. So it's been an interesting learning process. But what we can say for all those engineers out there and tech folks that are interested is we will be publishing our 2023 carbon audit soon, and we have seen not just a reduction in intensity of our carbon emissions over profit, but an overall reduction in emissions while our electricity grew by a small amount. So we're seeing that this strategy is actually working. And I think that the tech folks out there will be interested to see these numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. That does sound interesting. And I'm looking forward to publishing them here on Ecotech Insights as well. That sounds great. I'm wondering also, let's take another area when we're talking about digital transformation. Everybody is wondering about, okay, we want to be more energy efficient. We want to reduce emissions. But of course, what is this going to cost us? But it sounds like that Platform SH is very conscious of that and creating the balance that it's also cost efficient.
Right. And so with Upsun, we're even encouraging people to save themselves money and go to these greener data centers. And that's part of that education component as well. But the main thing is that whether you're running a web app, in Germany or in Sweden or, on the West Coast of the United States, or, maybe in another data center that's higher emissions, the amount of electricity that you use will be the same. So, this is really the efficiency on the emission side, just using that geolocation strategy to be efficient there. Yeah. And that's important for there's a new law out of California looking at emissions, and, the tech community is really starting to look at their full scope 1, 2, and 3.
That's a great point. I mean, we saw that in Europe already.
Yeah.
More regulation and people trying to be compliant. And then California, I'm sure it's a matter of time before the rest of the U.S. follows suit.
Yeah. I mean, I think California has been a trendsetter in a number of regulation, arenas.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's talk more about you and your background, because I know that you're an experienced climate scientist as well. And I'm wondering how that experience kind of shapes what you're doing now in sustainability for Platform SH.
Yeah, it's definitely a driver. We need to bend these curves quite quickly. And as the IPCC has said, every action counts, every fraction of a degree counts. So reducing emissions overall is kind of a passion of mine, as well as sharing why this is important and how to measure this correctly. I think there's a lot of good intentions out there, but, really basing the calculations and the final results in the science is very important. So anyone getting into this field, I would just say, work with your carbon auditor. In Europe, there'll be soon sustainability auditors generally, working on the corporate sustainability reporting directive. It's the two-way street. We will need to talk to each other to better understand what is material, how to measure things correctly, and it's going to be part of the process.
Yeah, I think that's a huge issue. Everyone talking together and being on the same page and communicating. So when companies are considering to integrate sustainability, into their core strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah, how would you measure? We're talking about this feature with Platform SH, but what overall core strategies do you think an organization needs to consider when saying, okay, we're going to be more sustainable?
Yeah. So I would say that I would be clear on whether you're going to focus on the environmental component and having an environmental strategy, or you want a sustainability strategy, because the sustainability strategy is so much broader. It takes into account that people component, how you're interacting with your staff, how you're interacting with your community. And there are a lot of new frameworks out there that are there to help businesses measure that. And so an example of that would be EcoVadis, which is a private initiative and, really requires businesses to have a sustainability strategy with KPIs. And this is something we're seeing worldwide, that sustainability has gone beyond, just selling a product, announcing, that you're green, or you're making initiatives and not quantifying it. So today, when we talk about a sustainability strategy, it's all about metrics. It's about measuring these over time, tracking them, and reporting them and disclosing them. And that's going to be more and more the trend that we're seeing as these international agreements come forward, as the big companies and the big players like California start putting in these regulations. People are going to need, everyone will start to need to disclose it using the same metrics.
Leah, you mentioned the educational efforts needed to get the messaging out. And I know you're familiar with the Green Software Foundation. Can you talk a little bit about that and how this organization comes together to kind of get this messaging out, and anything else that you'd like to bring up on that topic?
Yeah, so that's something, that the cloud has facilitated. And so having discussions on whether it's the Green Software Foundation Slack channel or others, that it's just such a great platform to bring people together for these sustainability discussions. And they're able to structure those into, individual threads. So if you're interested in infrastructure, you can talk on an infrastructure thread. If you're interested in talking about carbon calculations, you can have those discussions there. And the more and more that we have on this, the more and more awareness we'll have, comparison of best practices, and I think education around these sustainability metrics.
Great. What do you anticipate in the green tech industry? What are some of the general trends you see that are coming?
One of the exciting components is the drop in price of renewable energies. So I think, the tech community has always been a leader in this area of financing of these power purchase agreements or renewable energy certificates. So I think, we're seeing the fruits of all of that investment paying off now. And as, energy becomes cheaper and cheaper, that's going to have a profound impact on the tech community overall. I think in terms of the evolution, as sustainability disclosures become more standardized and public, companies will start to compare their results with one another. And we'll have this, group effect, of other companies nudging other ones towards better performance. And I hope that we're going to see more and more that green ops and FinOps go together. That the more optimization that happens in the cloud, the better the bottom line. It's better for the planet, and we all learn as part of the process.
I agree. And just for our final question, Leah, if you could just sort of recap what you're doing at Platform SH with this new initiative and the Greener Region discount, it'd be great. We just want to kind of recap it and maybe where people can get more information on it.
Very excited about this new offering, Upsun, with this Greener Region discounts on resources. We have several data centers around the world that offer this discount. So we have an Azure center in the Pacific Northwest in the US. We have another one in Quebec, that's AWS. And then we have, several in Europe, whether it's in Zurich, Sweden, or in France. So we have a lot of different offers now out there, and our clients can pick where they would like to be in terms of greener data centers. All of these data centers that I mentioned are also available on Platform.sh. So I think we're going to see maybe some clients that are just new to this journey, just signing up for 3% discount. And then as they go to upsun.com or platform.sh, that's just the URL. There we have blogs there that show everyone the methodology that we're using. We will be sending out carbon footprints to all of our clients for 2023 in the coming weeks. And we have an FAQ page that will accompany that. As people, I think, start receiving this information and these disclosures, they're going to become more curious and start to learn more about it.
That sounds great. Leah Goldfarb, Environmental Impact Officer at Platform.sh. It's been a pleasure to speak with you, and I really appreciate your insights today.
Always a pleasure to speak with you, Bonnie. Thanks.
Great. Well, stay with us on Tech Strong TV. We're going to have more great interviews like this one coming up.